Well, welcome back to Everyday Ethics. I'm your host, Michael Liebowitz. My co host, the wonderful Persephone, is here with a lot of great topics. And so we might as well just get right to it. Please remember super chats, super stickers, always appreciated.
And please go check out the merch because it's really cool. It's really cool merch designed by me. So I'm very precious about it. So, once again, I was struggling to come up with a topic for today. So I turned to the YouTube for help. And
To the YouTube?
to the YouTubes. Yeah.
All right.
So I turned to YouTube for inspiration, and the YouTubes gave me a very interesting idea, which was, hold please, why self-interest is the foundation of real love. Do you have anything to say just about the topic?
No. I'm not making it that easy on you.
Oh,
You don't
that's
just come out and
so
say self interest is the blah, blah, blah. Go
that
into some
is
stuff.
so mean.
Well,
Anyway, so
the
I was
YouTube didn't tell you about that?
that it was mean that I
That
have
I-
to that I have to come up with my own
Yeah,
my
what
own
direction do you want to
my
go with
own
this? Well,
opinions.
yeah.
Terrible. Okay, so the direction that the YouTube suggested, but also that I thought was interesting, is there is this idea in the popular culture that to I like to gesticulate. Okay, don't judge me. So there is this idea in popular culture that love has to be selfless, that you sacrifice yourself and your wants and your desires and you compromise away your life for your romantic partner or even for your friends. And that love requires sacrifice. And I just think it's a very harmful idea. So I would like to discuss.
It is a harmful idea. Go ahead.
Thanks. That's so helpful. I really appreciate that.
So let me tell you a story that's sick, but it's apropos for what I just did to you. There was this kid, we were, I think, 20 at the time. He might have been 19. And he was telling me that he wanted to rob a drug dealer with me, this guy. And he kept saying he wants to rob a drug dealer, rob a drug dealer. So he now knew one. I said, okay, well, let's go do it. So we went out there, and I was in the back seat with the guy, with the drug dealer, and this guy was driving. And so the guy says, okay, can I count the money now? Because we already had the drugs. And I said, yeah. So I told the guy in the front, I said, okay, pay him. The guy who was so keen to do this robbery of the drug dealer, I said, pay him. He's like, huh? I said, well, pay him. I wanted to see if he would say, no, you're not getting paid. So I said, okay, pay him. So the dude hands some money back, and it's like $3 or something, for like $1,000 worth of drugs. And the guy says, or maybe it was a couple hundred, I don't remember. It doesn't matter. But anyway, so he hands back the $3, and the guy says, dude, this is $3. So I said to the driver, my buddy, I said, what are you trying to pull, dude? Pay the guy his money. Like, what are you doing? Because he expected me to do the work. So that's what this just reminded me of when I
That's funny. I would do the same thing. So Akira says, to be fair, there's something about it that is correct. As Mark said the other day, he loves his wife so much that he would sacrifice himself for her. The problem is that people drop context.
The problem is that words mean different things. For instance, if I say Jim Valiant sanctioned Persephone, does that mean that Jim Valiant punished Persephone, or does that mean that Jim Valiant gave his approval to Persephone? Depending on how you use it, that's the thing. So when you say sacrifice, right, and I think that this is part of the problem, is we need to that's why in debates they define your terms so you don't end up everybody saying something different. By sacrifice, do you mean do something in the short term that I really don't want to do because I love my partner. And in the long run, this makes her happy and that's going to make me happy. So I'm willing to
Mm-hmm.
go and watch the stupid play or watch the stupid movie or whatever. Or does it mean that I'm consistently giving up things that mean more to me in order to get things that don't mean a lot to me? And I'm doing it out of motivation for somebody else and not for myself, right? In objectivism, sacrifice means giving up a greater value for a lesser value. That, of course, is horrible. I don't think that most people, when they're talking about sacrifice, for instance, if somebody says, if you want to be successful, you have to be willing to sacrifice.
Yeah.
And what they mean is you're going to have to willing to give certain things up if you want to achieve that great value. And there's nothing wrong with that, not from an objective point of view, right? So that's what I think Akira is getting at. Now, let's back up to your point about love and being selfless. Let's
So,
talk
so
about. Hold on. What? Now you're going to interrupt. You told me to go, and now I'm flowing, and now you want to interrupt. Go.
no, no, you go.
No, I'm not doing it.
I agree with you. I think that you made such a good point about the difference between the types of sacrifice we're talking about. Okay, there, I said
Okay.
what I wanted to say. Now you can go.
Well, thank God we had that. Okay. Anyways, so now I want to talk about two facets of this thing. The first thing I want to talk about is like more not an ethical thing, but just to me a common sense thing. I would feel like shit. Like, let's think about love and think about sex, right? If somebody were to say to me, "Oh, Michael, I love you so much. I want to be with you. It's such a charity to be with you," right? Like, you really do nothing for me, but I'm gonna love you and I'm gonna be with you, even though you offer me no virtues and no values. I would be disgusted with that. Right? Like, I don't want that. I don't want
No.
somebody to be with me out of charity or out of pity. Similarly, imagine having sex with somebody. And the person says to you, "I'm doing this for you. I really get nothing out of it." Right? I get nothing out of this. I'm hoping you're having a good time. I will do whatever I can to make sure you are pleased, but really it doesn't feel great to me. I don't want somebody to have sex with me like that. I want somebody to have sex with me because they're getting pleasure out of it. Right? And I want to have sex knowing I'm getting pleasure out of it. So that's, but just because that's what I would prefer, or because it sounds so silly to me to have somebody that would want to love me for, out of selflessness, that doesn't prove it's wrong. Right? That just proves I don't like it. Sigmund Freud said that unconditional love cheapens love. And of course it does. It's like Confederate money, or it's like the printing press money. If you just print it out, it becomes worthless. And if you just give your love to everybody, you know, out of perfectly indiscriminately, here, take it, it means nothing. It means nothing
Mm.
to me. If you love me, but you love everybody, that doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah, then you're not special.
No. So let's put that aside now. And now let's get back to ethics. And the ethics that we constantly tout and we talk about out here is egoism, right? That we're doing things in our own interest. How would it be in my own interest if I sacrificed, if I loved altruistically and sacrificed myself for another person? That's not in my interest. It is in my interest, however, to have somebody that loves me, that cherishes me, that admires me, that wants to spend time with me, that is honest, blah blah blah. I don't mean to blah 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 or yada yada it, but you gotta yada yada sometimes. Otherwise, I'm just gonna go on indefinitely. The point of the matter is that all of my relationships. Jim Valiant and I just did a great episode of The Rational Egoist on the virtue of justice. And the reason that we're just is because it's in our interest to be just. And the reason to love is it's in my interest to experience the pleasure of love, to experience the pleasure of sex, to spend time with somebody with whom I enjoy, to have somebody that's going to be honest with me. All those things are in my interest. Now, imagine if I said that, no, I'm going to love somebody that's going to lie to me, steal from me, cheat on me, and by the way, is lousy in bed. That's the person that I want to be with. How would that ever be in my interest? From an egoistic perspective, how would that be ethical? And again, anybody that's an honest, rational person, why would they want that? Now
Yeah,
you
I
can
don't.
know. Now you jump in.
So I don't know why a rational person would want that. So if I think about some of the people that I know, they are in relationships that do not serve them in any way, right? So I know it is a thing that happens. So when I originally sent you this topic,
10 minutes ago.
10 was it 10 minutes ago?
No,
Don't
no, it was
lie.
about
It was
15
20
or
minutes ago.
20.
It was 20 minutes ago. So here was the points. How abandoning personal hobbies and career goals to please a partner kills the very traits they first admired. The psychological death of self-esteem that occurs when your own values are treated as negotiable, and how a partner loses their identity becomes a burden rather than an inspiration. That was the three. That was the three sort of things that I sent you. So, in some of the relationships that I've seen, even though it's not rational and it doesn't make sense, I have seen this pattern of people giving things up that matter to them and making themselves smaller as a person to appease their partner. And it doesn't make any sense to me, but clearly it's something that happens. Thoughts?
Uh, I think to go back to your original point. Can I go back to your original list?
Yeah.
Is that okay? So
No.
I just want people to understand. I mean, again, we're talking about what's in your interest. There's two components to this, right? There's what's in your interest, but then there's the so it wouldn't be in your interest to give up everything you like. But also, imagine being in this relationship where you're giving up your personal hobbies, you're self-sacrificing, you're giving up your career. You are going to end up resenting this person. I mean, you're going to end up hating the person. It's like not being assertive. If you're not assertive with people that do things, like somebody might be doing something that you don't like, and you don't speak out about it, the person doesn't even know, and you never say anything, but now you resent the person because it keeps happening. And it's the same sort of dynamic. You're giving up these things. You're not speaking about it. You're not claiming your own interest. You're not asserting yourself. You're gonna end up resenting the person.
That's very true. And from what I've seen, it sneaks up on people. So the other thing is, you know how
I'm very
in
disappointed in our viewership today. We don't have a lot of viewers. I don't know why. Usually we get more than this.
did Mark share the episode?
No,
Well, there you go. So what was I going to say now? Oh,
I have no idea.
so in Crime Corrections and Culture, the show that we're going to be doing right after this, one of the things that we've mentioned a few times is that the thinking errors that you make, you don't think these thoughts explicitly, right? And it's very similar in this. You're not explicitly thinking, I'm giving up something to appease my partner. And it often doesn't happen, I'm going to give up everything that I love for my partner. It doesn't happen all at once, it doesn't happen explicitly. It happens in small pieces where you think that you're making a rational decision to keep the peace or that the relationship is worth giving up this whatever, but that adds up over time. So you might not meet someone and then give up everything in your life that you value to be with that person, but if you're not conscious of what you're doing, then over time you can give up more and more and more of yourself without ever really noticing that you're doing it.
Yep.
To keep the peace because you are afraid to be alone, because you want to be needed, because you want to be loved.
So Jim says to claim values. This is an answer to Jim says.
Platonic love is hypocrisy. Mr. Deagle said, can you elaborate?
Yeah, and Jim says to claim values you do not act on is the essence of hypocrisy. If she really is my top selfish value, I want and need to express that in action. Sex is the physical expression of our highest values, Jim says. So I do want to clarify, because Jim can tell me if he disagrees or not, but I think what Jim is referring to is if you really love a woman or a guy, whatever, in a romantic way and don't express it physically, that is hypocrisy. I don't think that what Jim is saying is that men and women can never have platonic relationships or platonic love in the sense of I love another person or I love a woman, but there's no sexual attraction. It's when there's the romantic love, or to idealize that as the highest, I think would be problematic, Jim. Tell me if I'm wrong or right, Jim.
Well, I mean, so he was responding to a tweet from a tweet that Mr. Deagle saw, which said that platonic love is a higher form of love than worship of the flesh. So it does kind of track that that is what he'd be talking about. So it's also something that you see in a lot of religious discourse, right? That you need to sacrifice, and you need to
to what? What do you need to do? Spit it out, woman.
I'm trying to think of the correct words to use, but it's difficult. It's just something that you see in a lot of religious relationships, where it's not based on values. It's all based on sacrifice.
You know that I've been told on more than one occasion. This might surprise you. I hear somebody beeping a horn, so I look to see. I don't know why. Hi, Kathy. A guy once told me in prison that people were afraid to talk in my presence because they didn't want to end up getting, debated with. My psychotherapist in prison told me that I intimidated him, and he got upset because I didn't just accept his advice. And I'm like, dude, what do you think I am? Like, I'm just going to be, you just tell me this is the way it goes, and I say, oh, yes, sir, I'll go obey? No. If you're telling me I need to do something, I want to know why. Show me it. I just thought of that when you said that you were trying to think of the proper way to say something. That's what made me think of it.
I can understand why people would be intimidated by you.
Well, buck up.
I didn't say I was intimidated.
No, I'm saying they should buck up, not you. I'm talking about the people. Buck up. Learn something. Look, if I don't know, I shouldn't, what am I going to do? I should be running around saying I know this, I know that, when I don't know shit? No. I should speak when I'm confident in what I'm talking about. And if I happen to be wrong, I just say, oh, I was wrong. That's it.
You would be surprised how many people are very confident,
no, I wouldn't.
At the mouth about
no, I wouldn't be surprised. No.
A lot of people do that. You know, it's so... Talking to you is such a trial sometimes, because I use words very slapdash. Yes.
No, sloppy. Let's call it what it is.
So you think sloppy is a better word than slapdash?
Yeah. I do.
Fine.
I think that when people look. Can I say look?
No, you can only say
two things.
Maximum
twice.
One,
one, if I want clarity in my own mind, I need to have the concepts that I'm thinking clearly defined so I know what the hell I'm thinking and I can come to truth. Second, if I'm going to communicate with other people, there has to be common ground. right? We have to know what we're talking about. Otherwise, we'll have a long conversation and we may, yeah, I agree with you too. And then come to find out, no, we don't really agree at all.
I agree with you. I do. I just, when I'm having a more casual conversation, I like to
Be
I
sloppy.
like to have fun in my word choice.
Well,
Um, so Mr. Deagle says it seems to me that religionists are against actual love because everything they do is destroying love. Getting married at 18, have 8 kids, don't get divorced no matter what. All this just breeds resentment among people.
yeah,
I mean, it's very true, but it goes beyond just romantic relationships because people sacrifice the bad way for their friends as well. They aren't honest. They compromise on principles because they don't want to lose friendships.
yeah,
They 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 sacrifice integrity, they sacrifice their principles because they are more interested in being part of the group or maintaining that relationship, um, and they aren't honest
okay.
with each
This
other
is, yeah,
often.
and this is a big problem. We kind of switched from the love, but I think it's all relevant because it has to do with sacrifice, right? So
And it's all relationships.
when you have people, let's say there's a group of people, and each person is accommodating, let's say, to all the others. Not only that, but they don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. So
Mm.
they'll just tell them nice things. That's the dynamic. Now, each person in the group knows the others is like that. So now you end up with a situation where nobody knows what anybody wants. And nobody knows what's the truth because the person says, "Oh, I want to do this." They might just be saying that because they want to make you feel better. And now you try to second guess them and say, "Is that really what they want?" And maybe we should do the obvious. It's so much easier to just communicate, be assertive, and be honest. You don't end up going through those kind of nightmares.
It is, and it's one of the reasons that it can sometimes be very tiring to be around certain people because instead of just having an honest conversation, you have to second guess everything that you say.
Yeah,
And there's a lot of mental effort that goes into just having a simple conversation because
right.
you never know, because they won't tell you if you say something that offends them or you say something that they don't like, you don't know that they're going to tell you or if they're going to just brush it over and then be a complete dick to you like 2 weeks down the line.
Yeah,
And
they
it's
end up
tiring.
resenting you, and now they're pissed, and you don't know what the hell's going on.
Yes.
Right, right. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you on this, Persephone.
But I also can understand, especially for younger people, it can be kind of scary if you aren't an assertive person and you aren't used to being honest to start being honest with your friends, especially if you have friends who you have sort of been lying to, right? You've been hiding things from. To start being honest with them now might be very scary.
Yes, of course. Growth is scary. It's painful. Growing pains. I mean, I mean, I know it's metaphorical, but I don't even know if it is when it's psychological. It's not physical pain, but it's well, actually,
It
it
hu-
can.
it,
Stress
it
can
hurts.
convert into physical pain for sure. I absolutely give Robert his proper respect. His charisma is rich, and it's definitely not suspect.
That gave me psychic damage.
That's good. But yeah, I mean, we want to ask yourself why you were hiding, Jim says. Yeah, I just think that it's so much easier to be me than to try to be something I'm not, somebody I'm not. I mean, I could, for instance, step into this world of, other, objectivists, podcasters, whatever, and I could try to be the always serious guy or the guy that doesn't swear. And actually do want to cut back on swearing. I mean, that's something that I struggle with because I just don't, I don't like it, but it, I'm not that, I'm not a perfect human being. I don't claim to be. And that's okay with me. Not okay in the sense that I won't work on my flaws. I mean that I can accept it and I can, admit it and strive to be better. But I don't want to pretend. I don't want to act like I'm something I'm not. I don't want to gain an audience, for instance, based on being a phony, because then I've got to keep that shit up, for one thing. And I don't want to do that either. I just want to be me. I'm going to tell the truth. I'm going to work my ass off. And that's it. And people don't have to wonder. And now you may not like me, and that's fine. Not everybody has to like me. You know what I have found? Let me see this. Robert with the $1.99 super sticker. Thank you. In my own life, I've found this has happened to me more than once, where people have heard about me, figured they wouldn't like me, meet me, at first like me, and then afterwards don't like me. Because people will generally like honesty and straightforwardness.
Up to a point.
Yeah, but not when it's directed at them. Right? If that is the type of relationship somebody wants, don't come to me. Because I'm not that dude. I'm just not. I'm not around for that. I'm not here to just be somebody's sounding board so that you can just go off and whine about your troubles all the time. That doesn't mean I won't give a caring ear and listen, but it's not going to be a permanent thing. I'm not going to be the one who tells you you look nice when you don't. If you don't want to know if you look fat, don't ask me. Right? Because I don't care. I got rolls in the front here. I got a stomach. It doesn't, you know what I mean? I don't deny it. I don't want someone telling me, no, Michael, you really have a six pack. No, the fuck I don't.
You do. It's just insulated.
It is insulated.
I have the exact opposite problem. People, when they first meet me, they hate me. Can't stand me. And it's only after they get to know me that they're like, oh, you actually aren't such a terrible person. There was something else I was gonna say.
Well, you better say it because we only have a couple minutes.
I know. Hold on. It's because you talk. It's because you talk a lot.
What? It's a talk show.
I was joking. See, I can't remember what I was going to say.
She can't remember. It's funny how you can say Kant. Now say Immanuel Kant.
Immanuel Kant.
There you go.
But that's how I always say it.
No. Okay, look. I hope everybody is... Oh, my God.
I'm trying to remember what I said. You say what you wanted to say while I think.
What I was going to say is it's time to wrap up. And we're going to be doing crime, corrections, and culture in a little bit more than 15 minutes. Please tune in. It's right here on this channel. We're going to, it's on X, on Twitch, wherever it is. Akira's like very intimidated by you. He just gets upset, like you scare him. I don't know what it is.
I have been told that I can be quite scary to people. It's what I've heard.
No, you are an absolute delight. You are delightful.
I just like how you just go, no. I'm not, but in real life, I'm my friend's scary dog privilege.
What do you mean in real? This is fake life?
Well, I mean this is online. So,
but
still, when we're walking around, I am her scary dog.
Do you know that when I was hosting the debate between Liam Staten and Liquid Zulu, Jim Valiant was in the commentary and somebody says, "Are you the real Jim Valiant?" And I'm like, "Is there a fake Jim Valiant that I'm unaware of?"
He's just famous.
He is famous. He is.
Just trying to guess whether Aussie or New Zealand.
Oh, neither. She's South African. South African. So what she is basically, she's descended from immigrants who never gave up their accents. It's a really ridiculous thing, but that's the way it goes. Either way, we're gonna wrap up now.
And
We're gonna
we'll
see
see
you
you
in
in
15
15
minutes on
minutes.
this channel discussing crime, corrections, and culture, where you get all the straight dirt. We're giving you no hyperbole, no exaggerations, no bullshit. Please tune in. Until then, be ethical.